Hello, welcome to One on One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Hopefully you tuned in last week to show number 1. If not, we've got show number 2 this week, once again with Evans Harvill as our guest. It's Harvill and Ross, the law firm of. Evans turns 90 years old, 2016, January, as we're taping this show. He's been practicing law over 60 years. His resume is so extensive, it's no way to go over it all. He's a brilliant man. He's a good man. He loves Austin Peay. He's also a Vanderbilt graduate. He's married. His wife, Sherry, 11 years. He was married to Peg Harvill many years prior to that. Just a good person. I think you'll enjoy getting to know him much better. We're going to talk about some interesting subject matter today. Settle back, relax. Once again, a fun, down-to-earth conversation with a man I really do admire. Evans Harvill joins us right after these words.
It's not a day you see coming. It may be sunny or it may be gray, but it's not a day you can get ready for. And it's not a day you would trust to anyone but a friend, because it's not just a day in a lifetime, but a lifetime in a single day.
Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home. People that care, a name you could trust.
Hopefully tune in to Heartland Radio, the only locally owned, locally operated radio stations in the area. 105.1 on the FM, WVRY, and the oldest station around, 1400 AM, WJZM. Tennessee Vol Sports, Austin Peay Sports, the Atlanta Braves, news, talk, weather, and great music. Solid Gospel, 105.1 and 1400 AM WJZM. Tune in.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome to our show today. Back for show number 2, Evans Harvill. Man, it's been fun.
And I enjoy you, Greg.
All the between talk is
That's
what
right.
I enjoy also. Some things we just can't air, can we?
Some things in my life we can't air.
Some things are best not to be aired.
That's right. Leave it as it is.
Now we're going to talk about Evan and his tenure with the Tennessee Board of Regents and other things today, and some of the things with that. But we got to start off because you have some great stories. I mean, you're a storyteller. You're a wordsmith, a storyteller. But you have to tell the folks, because this sort of describes you well too. Tell the folks the Oral Roberts story. You familiar with Oral Roberts University and Oral Roberts? He used to heal people on there. He had a TV show. And anyway, please share the Oral Roberts story.
Well, back years ago, I was on the Tennessee ABA on the ABA House of Delegates representing Tennessee.
Right.
One of 8. And we were in New York City on the ABA convention, and this friend of mine from Union City sort of at the opening session geared me in to sit next to a man from down in Jasper, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And we spoke. We knew each other. And he said, "Mr. Harvill, you're in the House of Delegates, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, tell me something. Who is that left-wing communist we have from Tennessee that's in the House of Delegates?" And I said, "Well, Mr. Swafford, I know everybody on it real well, but I don't know who that would describe. If you got a particular vote, maybe I could identify him." Yeah. When we voted on accreditation of the Oral Roberts Law School, only one member of our delegation voted against them. Who was that? I said, "You sitting next to him?" I said, "It was I." I said, "But you're constituent, and you're entitled to know why I did it." I said, Oral had a policy that you could not be a faculty member or a student at Oral Roberts Law School unless you adhered to the teachings of Jesus Christ as promulgated by Oral.
Right. His teachings.
His teaching. And I said that would rule out all of the Catholics, all of the Jews, and I'm a Methodist, but it would probably rule me out. And I said, I just think there's enough prejudice in this world without putting it forth further in law school. That's one place we're supposed to not have it.
Right.
And he says, well, what do you think of Jerry Falwell? I said, don't think a lot of him. He says, we send him money. I said, it's your money. And he didn't leave, but he looked uncomfortable.
Hey, but if they ask you a question, you've always don't ask you a question if what?
If you can't stand the answer.
Amen.
And I try not to meddle too much, although I do get my nose where it shouldn't be at times. But if you ask me a question, hold on.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Your relationship with Austin P. over the years, it's been healthy, hasn't it?
Very good. Very good. I grew up on the campus. We moved to Clarksville. We lived down on College Street, where the second house from 4th.
Yeah.
Easy walking distance up to the campus. When I was 8 years old, we moved out on North 2nd Street, which was easy walking up Marion Street to the campus. So I basically grew up on that campus.
Right. Your dad's 16 years president.
But when I was 4 years old, Dr. Ziegler, who was the initial president, died. And my mother and father went up to the school to pay respects, naturally. And they had a lady come and stay with me. Well, this lady found out that someone had died in that house, and she got spooked and left. A 4-year-old boy in the house alone. So I wasn't too comfortable, but I went and got my little chair, set it up about 10 feet from the front door, and got my daddy's double-barrel shotgun, which he brought home from World War I. It was an 8-gauge. If I'd have fired it, it'd blown me out the back door. I laid it across my lap and just sat there and waited for my folks to come home. I figured, I didn't know whether it was loaded or not, but I figured anybody wouldn't come in on a 4-year-old with a shotgun.
Yeah.
My mother evermore had a fit when I came.
I bet.
But you got to sort of take care of yourself, start early.
But you've loved the school early.
I love
is
the
the
school.
point you're making.
I am. And my dad was the first coach.
Yeah, we talked about that week.
last time. And I went to all the ball games. He was a baseball coach. We got all the old broken bats and the stringed baseballs. And I got out of high school in 1942, and at 16, and I went to Austin P until.
You got your degree there.
No, I went to Austin P for 2 years, and then went in the Air Corps.
Oh yeah.
And then when it got out, I went. I got another year in, and then in law school. But there was a program they had.
Well, you had to graduate from there before you went to Vandy, though, didn't you?
3 years. 2 years if you were ex-serviceman.
Oh, okay.
But there was, if you had your majors and minors off, you could be a senior in absentia and transfer back your first year's credits.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, I did get my degree in 1947.
Now,
Dad wanted to sign my degree.
Yeah.
And then Dad lived on the campus where the Clement building is now. And my first year out of law school, and while I was in law school, and the first year out, I lived there. Then after I married, we lived elsewhere. And then,
serious subject here.
yeah,
Tennessee Board of Regents.
which I had the privilege of serving.
You did. How 16 years on the Tennessee?
No.
12?
2 3-year terms.
2 3-year terms. Tell our viewers about the Tennessee Board of Regents and what their purpose is with Tennessee higher education.
Well, the Tennessee Board of Regents was the governing board for the 6 state universities not in the UT system. Memphis, Austin P, Middle,
Yeah. Tennessee Tech,
Tennessee State, and East Tennessee.
Right.
And then the community colleges. And
27 of them.
And the 19, I think it is, whatever it is.
Technical schools.
Tech schools. It's the only system like it, and it sounds a little funny, but it works. It worked well.
This board governs all of these.
All the schools.
All the schools.
We set the policy. We approve the subject matter that they're teaching, the degrees they can give. It's just a governing board.
Right.
And it is
honored to serve on this board.
I was president when Billy Beach died. I took his place. And Governor McWhirtle was governor at the time, and he was kind enough to appoint me, and he appointed me when the term was up. It worked well, in my opinion. It was geographically balanced. It was politically balanced. You had to, I forget the number, but you percentage Democrats, percentage Republicans.
Right.
And then you had representatives from the school, and it was just a well-balanced board, and I really appreciated the opportunity to work on it.
So my question to you, what do you think about the changes being made by Governor Haslam with the TBR?
I think if it ain't broke, you don't try to fix it. When I was on the board, Lane Rollins, who was president of Memphis, was talking about withdrawing from the Board of Regents and having his own governing board there in Shelby County.
Right.
And I told him then, I said, I was very much against it. I told him then that the greatest thing he had going for him was he was governed by people like 200 miles away. We weren't meddling with him. We set a policy and let him run the school. We didn't come in and say, you hire this person or that person, take this school, change this school. He could handle it. I think this is, I do recall that at one time, some of the Kentucky schools had their own board. I think Murray had their own board. And they got at odds with the president of Murray.
So what Haslam's trying to do is each individual school...
individual school will have its own individual...
Of the universities.
Each of the 6 universities have an individual board to govern them.
And who appoints this board?
I don't know. I have not seen it, but I'm assuming he will.
Not the individual schools.
I would think not. Because that would be counterproductive.
Right.
Everything else has been appointed by the governor. They changed the court of the judiciary and took those of us who were appointed by the Bar Association off and have them appointed elsewhere. So I can't imagine he would let it be done locally.
This is one of the reasons that John Morgan
it is the reason.
Has resigned a year early.
That's correct. John Morgan is the son of Joe Morgan, who was president of the college, university, immediately following my father. He was a great man.
He was a tremendous man.
I loved him dearly.
So did I.
And John grew up on the campus. We were very, very fortunate to have John.
John and I were friends years ago.
And a man of great integrity, and he just, as he said in his paper, I cannot work and run a program in which I don't believe. And I admire him on it.
Amen. Evans Harvill's our guest. We'll talk more, segment 2, right after this.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media, 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
This is show number 2 with our guest, Evans Harvill, distinguished attorney, 90 years old this month, had law practice over 60 years, been in law practice in this area over 60 years, been with the Tennessee Board of Regents. He's been on so many other committees and things. Amazing, just an interesting life, brilliant gentleman, and we have had a lot of fun. Bottom line with the Tennessee Board of Regents is you think if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That is correct.
And leave it like, you agree with John Morgan?
I agree with John Morgan. I admire John. I consider John a good friend, though age differential, we're not running buddies, but I do admire him. He's had a wonderful career himself. He served our state very, very, very well.
And had one of the greatest fathers I've ever met.
Yeah, his daddy was president of Austin Peay, father and my father, and they got along fine. I know Dr. Joe offered Dad an office on campus. He said, "No, Joe, I'm not going to get over it. It's your baby. You rock it."
Let me ask you this: if you had a chance for a do-over in life, what would you do differently?
That's a hard question.
It is.
You know, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
One occasion, I was coming out of the MassCom building at Austin Peay, several years ago, and I saw coming out my friend Jimmy Terry, and we spoke, and Jimmy says, "How are you, Brother Harvill?" I said, "Jimmy, I'm the luckiest man alive." He looked at me and he says, "Do you believe in Jesus Christ?" I says, "I sure do." He said, "You're not lucky, you're blessed."
Amen. Amen.
And I've thought about that so many times. I was blessed as my parents. They opened doors for me.
You have been a blessed man.
I have. My law practice starting out with Billy Daniel, one of the finest gentlemen I ever knew in my life. He opened doors. He gave me opportunities. I learned far more from Billy, the 32 years we were partners, than I did in my 3 years in law school.
Right.
I was blessed with Peggy. She was a great wife, a good lady. That 10 years of Alzheimer's was sort of tough.
Yeah.
But I did have the satisfaction knowing I kept her home. I think Dr. Griffin and I are about the only two people who did that, but I have no regrets on my aspect of it. I'm blessed with my present wife, Sherry. I've been blessed with the way her 3 children, 5 grandsons, and 1 granddaughter have accepted me as father. The grandchildren call me Opa. For example, the daughter and the 2 sons in Arkansas, one's a freshman in college, other's a senior in high school, and 14 of their friends came up to my lake house for New Year's, and the friendship with those people, they help keep you young.
Amen.
And I've been blessed across the board.
You have.
And to have friends like you.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart saying that. You still go to Austin Peay games occasionally?
Oh, well, I have. I got a little upset with them, but I missed a couple of them, but I still go. Sherry goes with me. She doesn't like basketball. She's the only person I've ever known to go to a basketball game and read.
Sounds like my wife.
Or knit.
Yeah.
But she's great in that regard. I just hope that they can make the tournament and go deep in the tournament this year.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice.
There will be a lot of changes over there.
A lot of changes. I don't know the reason for them. I don't know. I don't try to meddle with it. I'm very fond of Alicia White. She's doing a great job as far as I can tell, and everything indicates. And you know, change is necessary.
Life moves on.
Let me tell you a story. Way back when I was in the JCs, I was a national director, and I had to go visit clubs in West Tennessee, and I was in Huntington, and I paid, which was a noon meeting, and I paid courtesy of a call on Governor Gordon Browning. Mm-hmm. He'd been a good friend of my father's and been in the Legion together.
You're a yellow dog Democrat, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I guarantee you.
And we, Governor Browning said that when he and another young man from West Tennessee were in Congress, they picked an old gentleman from northern Mississippi as their model, because he'd been there a long time and the people were enough alike. Uh-huh. And he'd vote for something, they'd vote for something. Vote against it, he'd vote against it. And they said that one occasion something came up and this old man spoke violently for it. When it came to vote, they voted for it and he voted against it. And they went to him and said, "Why? You spoke for it and you vote against it?" The old man says, "What's the most powerful creature that ever strode the earth, sir? Dinosaur. How many dinosaurs you see today?" I said, "Well, sir, they're extinct." "You darn right they're extinct. And you know why?" "No, sir. With all their strength and all their prowess, they had one fatal flaw." "What was that, sir?" "He never learned to turn around real fast."
Well, stretch run. Evans Harvill back after this.
It's not a day you see coming. It may be sunny or it may be gray, but it's not a day you can get ready for. And it's not a day you would trust to anyone but a friend, because it's not just a day in a lifetime, but a lifetime in a single day.
Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home. People that care, a name you can trust.
Show number 2, our guest, Evans Harvill, and it has been so much fun. We could do 4 or 5 shows. Unfortunately, we're just doing 2. Maybe we can have him back on his 100th birthday. What do you think?
I'd be glad to be here.
Amen.
Will you be here?
I don't know. I'm day to day just like all of us.
We are. We hang by a thunder reed.
You know, age, it's amazing. Some people live a long time, some die young.
My dad made 93. My mother died at 54.
See,
51, I mean.
The Lord has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I can't question His plan.
No.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
It comes out of, it above all, to thine own self be true. And it follows as night follows day. You cannot be false to any man.
You try to be straightforward and straight.
I try to be straightforward. Don't ask me a question that you can stand the answer. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
And if you ask a question, you expect the same.
I expect a straight answer.
Amen.
Whether it hurts, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
What characteristic do you admire most in a person?
Ethics.
Ethics.
I guess that comes from, I had the privilege of serving on the Tennessee Board of Ethics, Board of Professional Responsibility, and chairing that for 2 years, appointed by the Supreme Court, and serving on the ABA Board of Ethics. And that's borders on being morally religious.
Right. Is there, I have never asked you this, but is there something you're proudest of everything else that you've accomplished in your distinguished life?
Well, I don't know how you distinguish this.
I said it. You didn't.
Well, I'm very proud of having served as state president of the Tennessee Bar Association.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of serving as chair of the Board of Professional Responsibility. I'm very proud of the fact I served as chair of the Tennessee Bar Foundation. I'm most all proud of the great friends I've got and the loyalty I feel to them and they feel to me.
That's great stuff. That's really great stuff. Your love for school, country, and city, the whole deal. Let's talk about, we're almost out of time. We just got a minute, but what's your favorite food?
Grilled steak on my grill that I cook.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Favorite drink?
Sweet tea.
I love it.
For no reason but empty calories, I've quit drinking alcohol beverage.
Really?
Because I'm too dead to burn fat. And they're all high calories. And they're empty calories.
You know, we got to go, but you know, I love you.
Thank you, Greg. It's a pleasure.
Give Sherry my best. Give the family.
I will.
It's been a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Evans Harvill, Steve Sawyer behind the scenes. Yours truly, Greg Walker. Tell your friends, neighbors, and loved ones about the show. Anyone I know, meet, or talk with is a potential guest. Till next time, have a nice rest of the day, folks.